Hi, you all. Courtney here, and I'm here today to talk to you about going on a no spend challenge for 2019. And so, if you would like to do this with me, you can follow along. I'll be doing it in February, starting February 1st till the end of February. And I wanted to discuss with you how to do a no spend challenge. Now, you may decide not to do a whole month, or you may decide you do want to do a month, or possibly you just want to do a day or a week. But one thing that's really common in the financial freedom movement and the debt free community are no spend days, no spend weeks, no spend weekends, no spend months, no spend years, things like that, to help you kind of have some control over your finances and to help you gain insight and awareness to your money management. So, I would like to give you some ideas and tips on how to do a no spend challenge. And I just got off a 1 year no spend challenge, and you can look at my previous videos, but you have to kind of decide what that no spend challenge is going to look like. So let's talk about first. Number one is you have to know your why. And I may have said 10, but there's actually 11. You need to know your why. Why do you want to do this? Is it because you have too much clutter in your life? Or do you want to learn about your spending habits and try to learn about yourself? Are you struggling financially and you feel like you need to get a handle on your finances and you feel like you need to do something drastic to create an awareness? So, knowing your why. If you're in debt, that could be your why. If you're wanting to just see where the holes are, that could be your why. So, I really want to prepare you for how to do this. So, kind of navigate your why, and I would suggest writing it down. The second one is you need to set a time frame. Are you going to do a day? I would suggest starting with a day. I don't really feel like a day is enough for most people. Um, a week is good. Even a weekend is good. But a month is a really good way to really kind of get a good feel for what it's like. And we're going to talk about what that looks like, because I think a lot of people have misconceptions about what a no spend challenge actually looks like. So you want to set your time frame. If you want to do February with me, that would be great. I haven't looked at the calendar to see if this is a leap year or not. So there's about 4 weeks there. Um, you have to decide what you're not spending on. So the past year, I chose clothes, shoes, purses, jewelry, even earrings and things like that, and books. And so, because I felt like there was those were the things I generally purchased, and besides necessities. And I didn't have a shopping problem. I've always been frugal, but it was something I felt like I could do. And for me, it started out to be about clutter and having stuff and wanting to simplify even more. And I ended up learning a ton more, and it was really good. But I'm not going to lie, there were some really uncomfortable moments, and there were things that came up that I had to prepare for and deal with. Sometimes it wasn't easy, but setting self imposed limits for things is super, super helpful. And I do this all the time. I put self imposed limits on myself for different things. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. So, you need to have a plan and you need to get prepared. So let's say you decide to do February with me. So in February, you would get your calendar out and you would look at what you have for the month, and you might plan your food budget, like what's the necessary food budget. You don't want to be just like flippant and not have a food budget. You kind of want to have a budget for this, because the point is not to buy. And if you're not buying clothes or whatever it is you spend on, you might be more prone to spend in other areas. So, what I would suggest is give yourself a budget for food, for toiletries, for gas, for necessities, and your bills, okay? Beyond that, if it's not a want, you're not going to buy it, most likely, okay? So, and if you have a spending problem, you might want to start smaller, like I'm not going to buy X, Y, or Z. Let's say that you shop a lot for clothes. Maybe you say for the month of February, I'm not going to buy any clothes. But if you just generally feel like you need to see where the leaks are, then you want to have a plan. If you are one of those people who stops at the store every day and gets a bottle of water, or you go to the grocery store often, you might want to have a plan to go once or twice a week, to not stop and get bottles of water, to prepare your water or your drinks to go, pack your lunches every day. You're going to want to go to the grocery store and have your food for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then if you have on your calendar, like I know that I have to work 2 weekends out of that month and I'll be traveling. So I probably will budget for meals out for those weekends because I'll be in a hotel and it's really hard to, eat in the hotel. So you might budget for some things that you know are coming up, that you know it would be, if you're traveling or things like that, or you have an event and you know for sure that you don't have any shoes for this event. But this is why I'm telling you to prepare. Plan how to fill your downtime. So this is something that I did not prepare for because I thought, I'm frugal, I don't really shop. I think I spent a lot more time looking at Amazon than I realized. And what happens is by default, when with the algorithms now, with Facebook and Amazon and your phone's algorithms, you're always connected to the Wi-Fi. There is always an algorithm listening to your preferences. So if I say to you right now, I want to buy cauliflower and a vacuum cleaner bag, chances are if I go to my Facebook in the next hour or two and I say vacuum cleaner bag 3 or 4 times on here, that I'm going to have ads for vacuum cleaner bags on my Facebook, or I'm going to have ads on my Instagram for vacuum cleaner bags and cauliflower. I can just promise you, I have been looking at a lot of low carb stuff, so I'm getting ads constantly through Instagram and social media. So you want to really plan your downtime and plan what you're going to do with your downtime. And I would discourage you being on social media a lot, or have the wherewithal not to go looking at advertisements. And sometimes it's kind of clever the way they send things. So you want to be really careful of your exposure to advertisements, and in your downtime just scrolling through your phone, through Facebook, because that's also going to give that perception of okay, I'm missing out on something, or look at that person's new car. Because when you see things that you desire, you want them. But if you don't see them, you don't want them. So you might go to the library and get some books. You might have some books downloaded on your phone. Maybe you'll watch some Netflix movies or some Prime movies, or maybe you'll go exercise or take a walk. So you want to plan what you're going to do when you feel the urge to shop or scroll. So I would definitely consider maybe even possibly taking social media off your phone, or at least, minimizing your social media. I've taken Facebook off my phone, and man alive, it is heavenly. I occasionally check it on my computer, and I can go through the hard way on my phone to get it, but I don't check it very often. Let's see. Expect some uncomfortable feelings and know how you're going to deal with them. This is something that I was not prepared for when I did the year-long challenge. There were times where I felt like I needed something or wanted something, and I knew, and there were times where my mind would say, it's like the little devil and the angel on your shoulder, and my mind would say, well, but that's a need, you need something. This summer we took a vacation, and I really felt like I was pretty desperate for clothes, vacation clothes, because mostly what I had was work clothes and yoga clothes, because that's my work. So I had either the dress up clothes for work or the yoga clothes, and I really felt like I needed some other things. And so I had a way of dealing with that, which was I would sell stuff, and then I would use the money and go to a resale shop and replace it. But there were a lot of times where there were uncomfortable feelings about spending, about not going to Target, not going into Old Navy, not looking at Amazon or, social media feeds and things like that. And then when you feel those kind of negative feelings, like you feel like you're being deprived, then that's when you really need to look at why am I feeling this way? What is it about this that's making me feel uncomfortable? Sometimes that uncomfortableness is just the recognition of knowing that you do that you You get bored and you scroll on Amazon and you buy crap you don't need, or stuff you buy that then you have to figure out how to take care of it and store it. And so it can be really, really helpful. I have a friend who says that they're never on Facebook, but yet they're sending me stuff from Facebook all the time. So a lot of that is that lack of awareness, because we don't realize how much time we're spending. And the reason I keep bringing up Facebook is there are a lot of advertisements on Facebook. So it is definitely a deterrent to not shopping. Um, expect some Okay, we got that one. Plan how to deal with other people. So this can be a real challenge, because a lot of people who see you doing this, if you say, well, I'm on a no spend, they're going to either one, think you're trying to make them feel bad, or they're going to have some excuse, and you don't want to do that. So I think you just have to come up with a plan of how you're going to deal with other people. I don't even know what I have going on in February. I know I have a workshop that I'll be helping teach. I'll have 2 yoga teacher trainings. Probably on those weekends, I will allow myself to go out to eat. I will also plan ahead and talk to my teaching partner who's going to do this with me, so that won't be such an issue. We've gotten a hotel with a kitchen in it. We may even eat in. So you need to plan on how you're going to deal with other people. And you don't always have to tell them you're on a no spend. You could just avoid the issue altogether sometimes. Or if someone asks you to go out, you might just have to tell them the truth and they can deal with their feelings. But do prepare on how to deal with others. If you have people that you help financially, like grown children, I would go ahead and prepare them now for that. So I realize I'm saying a lot today, and I don't know what's up with that. I think I'm just really tired. So I'm a little short of breath too, because my asthma's been acting up with this weather. So forgive me for that, please. Don't over prepare and go into a spending frenzy because you're going to be on a no buy. So I've been a year without buying anything new, no new clothes. The only thing new I got was my husband. I think it was making him uncomfortable that I was being so strict, and we went on vacation, and he gave me some money and said, I really want you to go buy yourself a pair of shoes for this trip. And I fought him for a while, and I thought, this is stupid, and I got the shoes. But my husband had done some extra side work and had given me the money for those. That was the only time. And there was one time where I picked up a magazine that y'all, it's so embarrassing. Okay, it was the first month. I was exhausted. I had worked like 21 days straight. And the magazine was How to Spend Less, Mother Earth Living, How to Spend Less. I did it without even thinking about it. But it was a learning experience, because that's the thing. When you're on these no-buy challenges, you realize how much we do that we don't even realize we're doing it. Like, I literally got to the car and I went, oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to be buying books for a year, and I just bought this magazine. Like, I didn't even think about it. So that's another great thing is to just kind of learn and have that awareness. But back to what I was saying is, don't over prepare. You want to be prepared, but the point is to learn. So if you go out right now and you go crazy buying a bunch of clothes because you think you're not going to buy clothes for a month, that defeats the purpose. You just want to get down to the necessities. So if you look on your calendar and you have a big event coming up, and you feel 100% certain you have absolutely nothing you can wear to that event, then yes, you may end up having to go buy something or whatever. However, you should try to think about, do I have something I can already use for this? Because that's the point of a no spend, is to teach you about the habits and the feelings and the ideas we culturally grow up with. Like, I grew up every spring and fall, I was given $150. This was the 70s and 80s, y'all. And I would go buy my summer clothes, or I would go buy my winter clothes. And every Easter, I would get a new dress. And, it just kind of went like that. And so we grow up with these cultural norms that are ingrained to us that we don't think anything about it. But you have to have new Easter clothes. You have to have, a new outfit for a job interview. But do you really? Do you really? Because if you think about the rate of return on the clothes you wear, you probably have something that you've already purchased that you've worn 1 or 2 times that would work perfectly well. Number 9 is is to be aware. I've already said that, but you might want to journal. I do a lot of video journaling and sharing with you all. That's how I journal. I have some negative feelings about journaling. My feelings on paper because of some childhood trauma around that. But what I would tell you is just I had journaled when I was little, and someone in my family had found it and read it, and it just went really bad. So I don't do that anymore. I just have really negative feelings. But I will write down goals and thoughts and share on here. For some reason, I'm more comfortable with that. But just build your awareness about how you're feeling, what your thoughts are. And I just can't say that enough. Have a buddy, have someone you can talk to that understands and gets it. That's number 10. And number 11 goes right along with that. If you don't have a buddy or someone that's willing to do it with you, what I would recommend is getting on the debt-free community. And so what the debt-free community is on Instagram. You can hashtag debt-free community. There are all kinds: voluntary simplicity, financial freedom, debt-free living, and they'll come across the screen. I follow on YouTube a ton of different YouTubers, and they share stuff, and you'll find people you like and you'll find people you don't like. I really like Pickup Limes, Frugal Freaks. I think one is called Budget with Brad. He doesn't have a lot of followers, but he's really good. He probably will soon. I do a ton of videos. I have a ton of videos. The difference with me is that I'm not really, I'd love to share the information and I would love to get followers, but this is not a job for me. So I'm not spending all the time doing all the links and everything and to try to get monetized. So I'm not obviously going to have as many subscribers, and that's okay. But I have a ton of helpful information on this YouTube page so you can go back and look at any of those old videos. And then if you want, you can also, I have a blog called The Resourceful Life. And if you follow me on Facebook, it's called The Resourceful Life on Facebook. That's the page. I have links there to the blog. Also on my work webpage, which is, you can do CourtneyRobinsonYoga.com. There are links to all my blogs. I've been blogging for like 12 years. One of my blogs has a ton of followers from all over the world, and then a lot of times I link to my videos in those. And then, just having that support system is really, really helpful. You get a lot of tips. You see other people going down the same journey, and you don't feel so alone. I have found that sometimes people will say things to me like, well, I don't really have to have nice things. And I'm going to do a video on that too. My friend, the friend that suggested I do this on the 30-day challenge, also suggested that I do one on misconception about frugality. And one thing I like to say about frugality is not about being cheap. And I will go into that more in another video. It's about having freedom and having the life to know that you have money in the bank, that you're prepared for emergencies. It just takes a huge, massive weight off your shoulders. When I first got my husband on this track, we've only been married a year. Today's our anniversary. And we've been together for 7 years, but I slowly converted him. And once he had saved enough money and he was able to write a check for the down payment on this 40-acre farm we live on, he said it's the hardest thing he ever did. It's like, once I could go out right now and buy a brand new car and pay cash for it because I live frugal and I've saved that money. It buys you an incredible freedom. But once you have that money, it's a completely different feeling knowing that you can buy what you want. It really changes that $350 payment you're going to make on something, or that $500 car payment. It's very different when you can pay cash for it. My husband jokingly said to me on New Year's Eve, well, let's fly to Vegas. And I said, we could, but I don't want to. So it changes a lot about the way you think. So Happy New Year, you guys. If you like this video and you want to do the challenge with me, please thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a message in the content. Thank you. Bye-bye.